Dear listeners, welcome to Out of Office. Welcome, dear listeners, to an Out of Office. Today, it is Alan and I. Say hello to the people, Alan.
Hello, it is I, Alan. Thanks for having me back, Marco.
And it is I. So yeah, we were just, talking about catching up with little stuff here and there. I wanted to share, I shared with you earlier today, I think it was today or yesterday, about another podcast about another speaker that submitted their content, and I feel like they referenced the story that I shared over there, and they're like that, they referenced the hometown over there in Mexico. They had their own story that happened in Puebla. And then they're like, oh yeah, there's this one of your listeners that submitted a story that happened to them in Atlixco, and they're like, she said, and this lady is living right now in Texas, a psychology professor with 3 masters in whatever project you're doing, and she listens to that podcast, and she referenced, like, it's super specific, and I'm the only one that referenced this Atlixco situation now, like, and she said, yeah, and again, this other podcast, it's about, like, not ghost stories, like weird stories weird situations that you can't explain. She had her weird situation in 73, and she lived there since elementary school, left for university, go back and forth. She has multiple stories of her living there and her weird experiences, and she's gone around to the US and never had those kind of situations. Her conclusions that she was observing, whatever years she's been alive on this earth, she's noticed that the place that she's gone, like over there in that area, Puebla to Atlixco, that entire area, Cholula, all those places, is pretty, like, charged in the sense of, like, premonitions, weird sightings of not like aliens, like situations, like what's going on here. Like, the area is very, very the word she said, it was magical and charged, but I'm saying it just has a lot of memories, and it just not premonition, it bubbles up, and you just are along for the ride. And that's what she noticed, that, like, the story that I shared, and she's like, yeah, it's not that people, like, that she's observed, that she knows that she's not special or anything, is that she's witnessed the most weird stuff over there. And low-key did the specific shout out to the situation that I submitted, and I was like, oh yeah. And I was talking with my parents, and like, yeah, I can imagine that happening. But of course, most of my dad has, like, gone, witnessed, like, again, the stuff that, some minute stuff over there the most versus, over here. But it's still, like, he noticed that it's everywhere, but it's just that it's more charged over there, and to be able to witness stuff like that, I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. And that's the most, and then the other thing that I talked with you. But what do you think, Alan? Do you think the areas, like, are more predisposed to be more charged to witness weird happenings?
I think that maybe
Events,
there's maybe there's certain places that might seem to be true, but then I would just think about places like in Central Park, right? Just as an example, where they dug up where it used to be a cemetery, right?
Central Park?
In Central Park, from people that used to live there before Central Park was Central Park.
Yeah.
And again, I don't hear the same amount of, I guess, or the same rhetoric that's behind what people would probably consider or call, I guess, fantastically charged area, or things of that nature, like spiritism or anything along those lines.
Weird settings, yeah.
But I do think that weird things happen, but then again, weird things happen everywhere. I mean, Mexico in itself, there's a lot of places that you can call weird because weird things happen, whether it be sightings of X, Y, and or Z. I think that also has to do a lot with the culture there. where people give a lot of credence to supernatural situations. I mean, you'll have people talking about elves. You'll have people talking about
Mexico.
Yeah, witches. You'll have people talking about the skinwalkers. You'll have people talking about aliens. I mean, again, nothing very out of the ordinary. You'll have those same people talking about, or not same people, but you'll have people in the United States speaking about similar, if not the same thing, over here in the States. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, and I'm pretty sure every country has those type of weird places in their country. I mean, how much credence do I give it? I mean, it really depends. I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary over there that I would consider. I don't want to like belittle it or make it seem like it's not something that doesn't happen, but I mean, I can't also say, oh no, with 100% true, this is what it is, and there can't be an explanation for it, right? Even if it's something that's supernatural in essence or in origin, like trying to pinpoint it and say, oh, it was because of X or Y. It's like, yeah, no. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more nuance to it. For all we know, there might be people there that are spiritists or Satanists or occultists that like to rile up, bad things, if you can call it that, right? In those certain areas. So, I mean, again, I'm not going to say, oh, no, it doesn't happen, or no, or yes, it absolutely happens. But I think there's more nuance. So what are your thoughts on that, Marco?
For example, being over there living and doing the horse and pony of waking up, going to school, going to the street market, living over there for like from dawn till dusk, staying over there for more than 5 years. Like me personally, I've only bore witness to one situation that I couldn't explain. But then the more time I give it with my experience of me maturing, I can say, I can give it the benefit of the doubt that unfortunately could have been a very mundane thing, but still an eerie thing that could catch you off guard the more mature you are. Of course, this happened to me when I was like, 15, 16 years old. So what do I know about the world? What do I know about stuff like that? But it didn't happen to me alone. It happened with 4 people, with myself, my middle brother, my aunt, and my uncle. That situation happened to us, not only to me. And then the other thing was when we were going to whatever place, and in the highway, we were all sleeping in the back of the truck, and I had like a weird I was just passed out sleeping in the back of the truck. You know how the tailgate is closed and everything. How how people do go around towns and everything over there, right? You just sleep in the back of the truck, and the truck is just it has a cabin on top, and that's it. If you're a family, you just book it that way on the highway. Well, I was like 13 or 12, and I was just sleeping in the back of the truck, sleeping. And closer to the tailgate was my aunt, then the closest. Then the second closest was myself, my mom, and my middle brother. That was we were all just passed out there sleeping. And then I don't know what happened, that I got like an intense fear in my body, like wake up hard. Like nothing told me to wake up. I just woke up yelling, ah! And I looked at my aunt and I grabbed her and I said, and I yelled her name, and she said, what? And she turned around at me and said, what? She woke up scared too. When she finished that sentence, the tailgate opens in the highway. Right next to her, and we were like yelling left and right, and my baby brother was like my middle brother, baby that back was, he was 8 or 10. He was like banging on the back of the glass, like, hey, slow down, or like, and I was just grabbing my aunt, and my aunt was grabbing me, and we're like half awake, half asleep, right in the highway, and going towards staring down the back of the tailgate. They just slammed open at high speeds, and we're like, and that's like the thing that I felt like I had more influence to prevent, you know, a bad situation. And you know, they slowed down, and obviously they didn't slow down right away because we were you know, on mountainside, ravines, everything. So we're like, they slowed down once they made it out of the highway and all those things into a place that they can go on the side of the road. And then like, what happened? Oh my god, like, why were you, the tailgate fell open. Oh, and that we had the truck, never happened again, only that one time. And but yeah, they closed it, they tied up the tailgate this time, and then, you know, it never happened. And my aunts like couldn't sleep until we made it to where we're our destination. And you know, that was my like actual, like, I want to say a quote unquote premonition, because in my experience I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything. I just like woke up with a, I don't know if you can see me, Alan, like I woke up like this, like, what do you mean, like, right. what's that, how do you describe that to the listeners?
Kind of like in shock, maybe.
Yeah, like I woke up in shock, like as if I was like breathing in again deeply, and I turned around and grabbed my my aunt. And then like, no, and like, and her name, right? And I'm like, whoa, and she's like, what? Looking at me, and then the situation happened. And that's the only thing out of all those years that was like the actual thing that helped in the area, that helped me influence to, you know, that situation. Versus the other one, I was just along for the ride. This one, I was able to take control. No, the other one, I was just, I'm there just as an observer, and that's it.
But then, Marcos, how would you classify that? Like, in my mind, what it kind of like, what comes to mind when I hear that type of story, is it more than eerie? I think, well, okay, call it eerie if you like, as a classification. But then, how would you classify it in the sense, was that God's providence, maybe? Or was that...
Maybe, yeah.
Or was that your guardian angel that was there doing something? Or how would you classify it? Or, because I mean, you're kind of left with your kind of like with your arms kind of crossed, saying, well, that's kind of strange. I woke up
in shock,
in shock, and like
in the panic.
In a panic. And the first thing I do is hold on tight to my aunt, obviously, because you're a kid at that point.
Yeah. Instead of my mom, that was to my right.
Right. You grab onto her for whatever reason. I mean, I'm saying that there's too many blanks in that situation. It just kind of strikes me a little bit as what would you classify it under?
I can't.
So that's why I would say, like,
I don't know.
If we were to say, if we were to be really like nutcases and say, oh, aliens, of course, that's what happened. Or if possibly Bigfoot is the one that opened up the door in the lie, like that's very unlikely that happened, because you were asleep and the car was moving and
it was daytime already. Yeah.
And again, okay, that's more information. It was daytime. Now, taking into account, was the pickup truck old? Was the campers placed on right? Was the door faulty at all in any way, shape, or form? Are we talking about a truck that is new or older? Yeah. Is the road bumpy or not bumpy? When you closed the tailgate, was it closed properly?
I wasn't the one that closed it. Yeah, good. Yes. Good observations.
Did you eat before you fell asleep and maybe provoked you to have some sort of nightmare in the middle of your nap or during the daytime? Did you drink something? Maybe you screamed out of sheer shock that you might wet your pants if you don't find the restroom. Like, again, all these things I would kind of like want to answer, like, not that you need to answer to each of those questions, but maybe ask those kind of questions before we jump to conclusion. And not to say that eerie supernatural things don't happen. I do believe those things happen, but sometimes we like to give credit where credit is not due.
It's not due. Yes, I was going to say that.
To things that maybe aren't what they seem to be. And then the things that should be getting the credence and credit don't, because we kind of think it's far-fetched. Like, of course, that could never happen because of this situation, but it could only happen if it were that, like, we kind of want to pick and choose when supernatural things are supernatural
like
things.
a biased.
Right. We have that type of bias sometimes. And I guess I understand that, obviously, because everybody has a bias. But that's what I would try to wrestle with, or at least come with a conclusion by answering those or at least make the questions evident and then try to answer them if I'm able to. And really kind of like narrow it down to what it really was. Now, I mean, of course, could you call it even a miracle as a classification because no one got hurt? I would say that's a very, that to me is a miracle that no one got hurt. God's providence maybe, because no one slipped out and you were able to wake up, and again, with the little information I have, maybe guardian angel,
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, woke you up or something like that. Again, not to say that supernatural things don't happen. It's just that, a little bit more information would probably, shed some light to what happened or what didn't happen.
To clarify, like, what for the listeners, like for me, for example, what does supernatural mean? Supernatural for me is like, I know that there's 4 seasons on this earth and my area where I live. I know that there's changes in temperature. I know that there's changes in atmospheric pressure. I know that there's wind currents because of those atmospheric pressures and all those things. Like, I feel like I can break stuff down with elements that happen around me or on earth. But then supernatural things are the stuff that I don't know. The stuff, and that obviously the more I know that I don't know, and thus supernatural always, it's like you're chasing that dragon always. For me, obviously, the more I learn, the more I ask about the questions that I don't know. Like, okay, I know this, but then I know that there's something connected to this. What's this? It's unknown. So it's a super unknown. Dang it, unknown is a better tag for like classification. To be known, to be continued. I don't know. Like, that's for me my definition of supernatural stuff outside of my understanding. I'm not saying it's magical. There's always going to be some understanding. I might not understand it now, maybe not ever, but it's something that it's out there, out of my own personal understanding of the world. What does supernatural mean to you, Alan?
Well, I think that there's certain things that obviously I don't know, and I'm very comfortable with not knowing. And I think the qualification of something that could be classified as supernatural also kind of has to do, at least for me, it has to do with something that not only I can't explain, but it's something that's obviously supernatural. This is the reason why I use the word supernatural, because you can't really put your finger on it with logic, where you're trying to like answer the actual question of why that happened or why it came to be, being that there is no real reason why things panned out the way they did, because they just don't, but they did in that particular moment. Yeah. So for me, I think, again, I'm perfectly comfortable saying that there's certain things that I can't explain that happen that I can consider supernatural, or out of the ordinary, or supernatural, or even miraculous, if you want to use that word. And I think there's certain things that you could possibly answer. You just have to do the homework and answer the questions that, like, the basic questions that I was asking, like maybe it's the 5 W's, right? The who, what, when, where, why type of situation
surrounding the tailgate.
Yeah, exactly. But again, to your point, Marco, it's just like, I don't know how a rocket ship gets from Earth into orbit.
the little nuances, if you will.
Right,
Yeah.
but I know it happened, right? So it's not that it's miraculous. It's just that if someone did the homework and made it possible for it to do that, right? Where there's certain things that essentially you're not able to answer. It might be
a satellite even.
No, well, again, bringing it back to something that you can't explain and there is no logic behind it to why it happened. Like there might be something, and maybe going towards a little bit back to what you were saying originally with your example, maybe you fell asleep one night and you dreamt up something that might pertain to your daily life. Maybe, and it's just an example, right? Maybe you go to sleep one night and you dream about you're at work, you talk to a person that you usually talk to or you've never seen before. Let's go even deeper, right? Or farther. You talk to a person that you've never seen at the place of where you work. You talk to this certain person and you ask a certain question, and they ask or they answer you back, or they ask you a question. They buy something and then they leave, and then you wake up, and then you have a deja vu moment, like 2 months into a year in the future, where you start kind of recognizing what's happening. Like you start going through the motions of like, oh, I've lived this situation out in my head or my dream one time, and this is a person I've never seen in my life, but now I'm seeing this person and for real, and they're, the question they asked me in my dream is happening all over again, and I know what she's going to answer. I know what I'm going to answer. And then the deja vu moment, starts, ends, and finishes. And then you're like left in that situation where you're like, deja vu. I just had a deja vu moment. Right?
This is gonna sound mean. Like I remember, like I know that it's like going on, but I don't remember what the thing is. Like I understand the situation that you're saying. God dang.
Right.
God
so
dang, I don't remember. Yeah.
So again, those are the things that I would classify as something that's supernatural, or to the extent supernatural, where it's like you can't quite explain it logically. It just happened, and at least for me, if that were something that happened to me, if that was a situation that happened to me, I'm perfectly okay with understanding there's certain things that I'm not able to understand, nor will I be able to figure it out logically of why it happened. And it's okay. It's all right. It's not the end of the world.
So for supernatural is something that you don't understand, but you're okay with it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah. No, because if how can I explain it? I think there's a fine line between you trying to understand certain things or something, and then trying to figure out what, I guess, as an example, the truth, right? What is the truth behind it, or something along those lines. I think sometimes we get so self-involved, self-absorbed with certain things that don't really need quite as much attention as other things that need a little bit more, I guess, how could you call it, a priority, that we kind of lose touch with everything else around us, right? When we kind of hyper focus on things that don't really need to our full attention. And again, I think that also has to do with people having short attention spans nowadays, where they can't go through a long form, I guess, a long form situation like our podcast, as an example.
A long form situation, he says.
Yes, because we speak for about an hour or so, and I'm surprised if people get through 30 minutes of our podcast, just because people's attention span are about 5 minutes, or if not 15 or less, in some cases, and that's becoming a problem, because if you can't explain something in a TikTok size version of explanation, then the person's going to be put off and not going to want to understand or learn something that you're trying to explain to that person. That might be for their benefit, but because their attention span isn't there, then they unfortunately will miss out on a wealth of information when it could be presented, even though it's in a long form a way of thinking, right? So and that's just an example that I bring to you. So
of supernatural?
Yes, of supernatural things. Again, explaining to yourself or being comfortable with not knowing what's going on. And I hope I'm not coming off as convoluted or kind of like too wordy, because I'm really not trying to. And I'm just trying to explain these points that, at least for me, I think they're maybe not essential, but this is how my brain works through these things. I'm not 100% correct on anything. Don't believe a word I say, please.
But it's just your train of thought. It's your train of thought, or your brainstorming.
This is my point of view, because again, my point of view comes from my experiences, just like your experiences are going to come out. But I would encourage people to perhaps take a second when things like this happen in your life. Ask yourself questions, and even if you can't answer the question of who, what, where, when, why, and try to be too logical about it, if you can't find an answer to it, be comfortable understanding or knowing that just because you can't answer it logically doesn't mean it didn't happen or doesn't exist. And just be comfortable knowing that you might not have all the answers to everything in life.
You know what's the other eerie thing? Even, for example, for me personally, only 2 situations are things that I can't explain. Like, obviously there's a lot more, but that stuck with me. But the reality is that there's a lot more weirder things that have happened around me and that I did not even notice. That is the eerie thing for you, dear listeners. Like, weird things happen all the time and you probably don't even notice it for X reasons. But that's what I want to leave to you, dear listeners, about that one. Like, stuff happens, normal, extra normal, or supernatural, whichever the two. 99.9% of the chance you probably didn't even notice it.
Yeah, like being unaware of your surroundings. Sometimes.
Me being in this little freaking room, like weird stuff could have happened in here, and I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, no, of course, bro. I mean, sometimes we're just to finish off this thought, sometimes we're so clumsy and just, I guess, so scatterbrained with certain things. Yeah, we just leave things here and there. And then, as an example, and I bumped my toe on the corner of something that I placed on the floor 2, 3, 4 hours ago or yesterday, and I didn't bother picking it up. And then I stubbed my toe in the corner of that said thing, and then asked myself, who the hell put this here? And then realizing, oh, I'm the dummy that placed it here in the first place. So again,
I'm guilty of that.
And again, it might happen like that. I'm not saying that everything is going to be like that, but it could happen. You just have to, kind of be a little bit more self-aware sometimes of your surroundings and be cautious. I mean, and it kind of takes me back to that conversation we had with this gentleman from North Carolina.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to one of our previous guests, where he was explaining how we should always be wary of our surroundings, and don't be so hyper focused or scatterbrained, especially when you're out of your home, around town, on the streets, places where you don't frequent with in open water.
Yeah, frequent with commonly or anything like that. So those are the type of tips that he was giving us, and it kind of did a callback for me thinking through these things. I don't know. What do you think, Marco?
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. Like, guaranteed. Like, again, where I work, this can sound dumb, but there's a bunch of body, like pigeon body cadavers when I walk into the main entrance, right? I was like, I don't even care that I'm stepping over them when I'm heading into work. And like a lot of other, building people workers there, they're like, oh my God, so many bodies, so many pigeons, so many birds dead. Remnants of wings, and this is just, we're not like, well, why? They're like, why? It's like a battlefield over there. Yes, why? And security responded, yes, there's a falcon's nest above, 8 stories up on the building. Like, oh, yeah, but why so messy? They're alive, they're eating. Birds gotta eat. Birds of prey gotta eat. And their nest just happens to be above the main that face of the building. Things happen. And but every day, do you eat every day? Like, literally, the security guard, do you eat every day? Yeah. So do the falcons.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. And I don't. Yeah, there you go. And now I'm like, I don't care. I'm just walking by. Like, did I step on dog poo? No, that's all. That's a win for me, dear listeners. I did not step on dog poop. Because, oh my God, you don't want to be cleaning your shoe like, any day of the week. I'd rather be stepping over like a piece of a wing that got, or a piece of a bird's wing and all those things, versus dog poop. Or I wouldn't want to get pooped on by those same falcons. So, dear listeners, you gotta watch out. Keep your eyes open for the skies, and you don't, where you're stepping around. But yeah. With that point, what do you think? I was talking with Mr. J early in the week. I showed you some pictures, right? About like me, what I was doing, before going to sleep, having a nice little cup of milk, milk. And I was like, I don't know why. I was listening to another podcast again, and they were talking like, okay, dear listeners, your favorite shows, right? It costs X amount of $1 million. And for them to just even get that into your eyes, ears, into like billboards, whatever they call those ads and prints. Advertisements and printed advertisements.
Oh,
and they're like, how much do you think they spend on that to go on that for advertisement? Just as much as the movie. So whenever they say they spend X amount of dollars on the movie, they just spent as much money for advertisement anywhere, social media, Super Bowl ad, whatever ads, like just as much of the movie. Like the movie is 50% of the expenditure. The other equal amount of expenditure is advertisement. And then I thought, my favorite, like the stuff that I grew up with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, with The Mask, with Paul Blart, with those kinds of comedy. Yeah, but those kinds of level, not like Avengers Endgames. Like I also thought up there, or with the most recent one, Avatar, something Way of the Water, or Pandora, whatever that movie is by Steven Spielberg or James Cameron, whoever did that movie, Mr. Spielberg, I think.
I think so.
And I was thinking, oh my God. So, for example, I did some light research. The Zoolander. The Zoolander, they spent just to make the movie $28 million, and spent another $28 million for ads and prints, and their revenue was almost $100 million. So they basically they came in positive, right? Just in the US, and then outside of the US, they doubled that. So those came positive. Okay, that good for the production company. This is me thinking about money, and then I was thinking, okay, that was a success. Dollar per dollar, full success. Over 4 times or 5 times, 8 times the expenditure. They made their money back flat. You don't mess with the Zohan. Around 30 mil. They expended on the movie production. Obviously spent around 30 mil for ads and print, and then made over 3 times the amount. Okay, a little bit less, but still positive. And then Marvel Endgame, almost 400 million. Okay, so they spent at least 400 million for ads and print, and that would have made almost like 800 mil, almost $1 billion in total revenue. Just in the US, they made 900 million, which left them only 100 million. Obviously 100 million is a lot, but then globally they broke $1 billion, including the US and the Americas and all this stuff. And globally they almost made $2 billion, I think. This is off the top of my head, dear listeners. I could obviously be wrong, but they only made they just by a hair's worth made $100 million. They were over like the same amount of money they spent to make and to advertise. They made that money back, but they're just like by this much of a hair they made over the amount they spent. So like, was that a success? Like, it was, obviously, in hindsight, economically speaking. And I was thinking, like, if a movie, if they publicize it, even let's assume all the data they're giving, the expenditure and all those things is 100% accurate, and following that formula that this other podcast producer also wrote scripts, got their some movies made. Obviously they weren't like blockbusters, they're like B movies and all those things he was saying, and a lot of other movies got taken out or did not make it past the board of different movie production companies. Understanding this, it's a very cutthroat game, a cutthroat situation, and then understanding that there's a very, very slim line of revenue for these production companies like Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, those kinds of Universal, all those things. They're always chasing that dragon, if you will, to grab a blockbuster products. And right now, I'm like, what's a blockbuster right now that could, that could be the same thing? Like, I'm thinking, like, do you think right now with what's going on right now with the writer strike, obviously rightfully so, but do you think it's a fiscally sound thing for the movie production companies to even be fighting it when they're always gambling, where they're always riding the line of going bankrupt? They're like a movie away from going bankrupt always. They're not like 3, 4, 5 movies ahead in expenditures. Obviously not every movie costs the same, but at the same time, is it worth going for like Marvel Endgame every single time, or is it better to go for a Paul Blart, a Zoolander, Ace Ventura? You know what I'm trying to say? With what's going on right now, is it worth for the production, the movie companies to even fight against what's going on with the writers, and just because they're their content creators, they're their writers and their actors and all those things, and obviously their movie teams, their recording teams. Why would you fight the people that are writing and creating the content if they're guaranteed gonna make it better? That's my question right now. Why? If fiscally speaking, it's not a fiscally smart thing to even go against them. You know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, I think it's a double whammy, to be honest.
Okay, well, why?
Because it's not only a writer's strike, but it's also an actor's strike as well.
Is it worth them fighting it though, if they're their content producers?
Well, because they're both, I guess you could say, separate entities. They could care less about I guess Hollywood in this case, or needs their writing, or writing, or their actors. And that's bad for one, because then nothing gets done.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think it also has to do in part because I think, going back to this talking point that we've had for a few now, or I guess you could say a podcast, the fear of AI taking over their job.
That's what I'm saying. They should just bend the knee and comply with the writers / actors, not boycott, like whatever they're doing right now. I don't know how to name it. I'm not too good at words there, but why not just like, okay, yes, you're correct. dear writers, dear actors, we will comply. Why? Because we're in debt, so much debt right now that we're a movie away from going bankrupt, and you are our golden goose, our golden egg, our golden goose, not even the egg. The egg's the movie. You guys are a golden goose. We shouldn't fight you. Well, I'm surprised they're fighting it. You know what I mean? When they're this close to going bankrupt, always. Politics, maybe.
I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what it is, but I think factors could be as simple as want to get paid more. From what I could gather is like using AI generated actor that acts like you or her, and then having the surplus of cash because you didn't have to buy the machine to do it more than one take. You can only do it. They were able to accomplish it in one go, and then have that I guess you'd say that machine do all the heavy lifting, and then kind of leave out high and dry the actual actor or writer that is needed to produce or make memorable story
content.
So that's where I'm at with that. And it's like it's horrible, but like you kind of, I don't know if you want to say you root for them, but like you kind of understand where they're coming from, because a lot of these writers and actors aren't making what A-list actors or actresses make, and for companies to think it's as simple as copy and paste.
They want to save money, probably. Then,
right? It's like, imagine you have one actor kind of doing poses that are or scenarios that you need a couple of extra ones, so they don't have you right then and there, so they just digitally insert you, right? Copy and paste, and then now they're using your likeness in something that is generating money, and you're not getting.
Should you get a kickback for that? Yeah, I think they should, because it's your face, it's your person.
Exactly. So again, a lot of people might differ from that opinion, but I agree with you. I would want people to get paid because they're using their likeness in something.
The writers are breaking their noggins just to create those scenarios, those worlds, if you will. And then obviously they're worth. I feel like they're worth more with this changing scape of streaming versus not that many movie releases on the actual theater. Their contracts are obviously older, and within these past 5, even before the pandemic, these past 10 years since 2013, I want to say, the landscape of how your contracts are made should, in my head at least, should have changed, but they're obviously boycotting right now because the world changed, and they're not in a favorable position where you're probably getting paid once the movie is released in the movie theater. And guess what? It goes straight to Disney streaming, Disney Plus, Disney Netflix, Hulu, and it doesn't. They don't get paid for that. Remember the girl from Black Widow? She did a big lawsuit because her movie or her series. Her movie didn't go out on the big screen. It went straight to direct to streaming. And what was the situation with that? Did she win? Did she lose? Or let's see. Like, that's one of my questions. Like, that there should be an amendment, an ability for their contracts to be in a legal way to be amended or updated with whatever changing times, AI, streaming. What's the other one? Some people are live streaming, like I wouldn't say like you and I, but content creators are streaming a movie like the Black Widow on, I'm not gonna say Twitch or Kick, but they could. Let's hope they can integrate that into the contracts for the big producers. That okay, people can stream and react to it on their own stream, but everybody gets paid. Accordingly. This could also legitimize the Twitch streamers or the Kick streamers or blah 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 streamers platform, so that everyone gets paid. This would be an idealistic thing. And if they're using your likeness with an AI character, it opens an opportunity to make a contract with you, the actual person, to have a potential more money revenue with whatever circumstances, you not being present, but you still get paid because it was you that they referenced. And of course, everything has to be picked clean with a fine comb. Obviously, but everyone has. I wish that everyone gets a fair shake, but that's why they're boycotting right now. That's why they're protesting.
Well, good point. Trying to figure out which the
just following
scheme.
the money. Yeah, I started with the money.
I think if you follow the money, you'll end up with a trail of why these things are happening at this very same moment, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna check right now. Scarlet, what is Johansson? What was it? Lawsuit.
I think it is lawsuit.
Let's see what happened with it. Let's see. It says Scarlett Johansson and Disney agreed to end lawsuit. So they agreed to end their own lawsuit betwixt themselves. I guess they got a fair shake. They agreed on something. I don't know if it was fair, but they agreed on something.
I don't know what that is either. But
yeah, I'll share it later in the links for the podcast and everything. Let me copy it so that if you're interested on reading it. And for the record, for the listeners, if they're interested, obviously they can look at it. But I went to CNN just as a heads up. And there was already results, but that's what it started with me drinking milk, and it ended with me following the money.
I like the money too.
Yeah, I don't know. You saw my little sip, my stein that I drank out of milk, just milk,
yes.
And had a little bit of cookies with it, and I was like, okay, I'm over here just when that I'm listening to another podcast. Shout out to Radio Ronin, and they were just like talking about how their own personal experience with movie production, and I was like, okay, let me now put pause and just think about my personal experience with my favorite movies, of my childhood movies, some of them Disney, some of them not Disney, and the rest is history that I just recorded.
Right. But still, I think the fact that both of these entities are going into or putting themselves in that situation kind of shows you where their kind of worry is about the uncertain future that lies before them.
Yeah. Yes.
On both sides of the part or each party.
Yeah. And it's right. Both sides are looking out for themselves, and I don't blame them. But at the same time, do they want to continue going on, work something out, ladies and gentlemen? On both sides. And obviously, right now there's even the UPS situation, which is another bag of worms that I was like, gosh darn it. You heard about the UPS strike, right? Also.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's another one. Follow the money.
Basically.
But the one for content creation, obviously, there's a lot of UPS also has a lot of competition. This is me thinking about it right now. It has a lot of competitors. Hopefully, USPS, FedEx, whatever other, DHL learn from this and can cut it off at the pass before they get their boycotts and all those things, so that they don't lose money. Hopefully they're always keeping their ear out to the world and all those things. There's got to be smarter people that are listening to this, to what's going on out there, and trying to make their situation better. And then the movies, and again back to the TV shows and all those things, they have a heavy competitor. They have us content creators. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, Google is whatchamacallit, a competitor to all these movies, to Disney Plus, to Netflix. Just us having the ability of not being, what's that card? Actors Association.
Right.
Not being card carriers of that. We're out of their system, but at the same time, we're still competitors. Knowing or unknowing to them, we're still a competitor because we upload to Spotify, to Anchor, all those different places, and we can provide an alternative form of entertainment to our listeners or our watchers of this podcast. Thank you, by the way. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube, of course, and all your favorite podcast listening sites. No, gotta get that bag, Alan. Gotta get that bag.
The plugs is real.
Our own plugs. Our own plugs.
That's true.
But yeah, that's it. It's a very history is being made, and I just want to point out that I just stuck with the money. It sounds cold, but at the end of the day, if you have us, like you told to the show, Alan, if you got a stable, which we'll call it a stable checkbook, you sleep easier at night. You know what I'm saying? It opens the path to do something better. You know what I'm saying, Alan?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to piece together.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Yeah, no. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that, you know, we're unknowingly, me thinking right now, we're competition to those people that are on strike, that are card carriers and all those things, because all their viewers, obviously not the same amount or the money, but we're destabilizing the market just by us making content. You know what? With social media and all those things, we're throwing a wrench unknowingly to them as well, because we have a platform. And they have a platform, and then the public just chooses where they invest their time and their money. You know, if you do it with us, I thank you very much.
And the benefit is that they get a finished product, I guess.
Yeah, both. Yes. But it's their time at the end of the day. The content consumers, it's their time if they're gonna be watching the next Marvel movie or the next Disney movie, which is not the same thing. Or are they just gonna watch a little nobody YouTube channel called Laugh Tech and Sundry? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what they're trying to. No, amen. And that's what they're trying to. That's what the strike, the people that are on strike want to get a fair shake, because that's their livelihood. That's where they're getting, their careers, if you will. And versus us, it's not our full-time careers. And I think that's what scares them, a lot of them. And it rightfully so. Because they made contracts already with those production companies, and they want to get, reassessed with what's the changing market right now. And that's it, But yeah, like what keeps you like thinking? Like for me, it was the money, movies, content creation, ourselves. I just connected the dots while talking with you, understanding that it was content, and now that it's content, how we are part of that situation that they're worried about unknowingly.
I mean, I can try to compare them, but I know that it's not going to line up perfectly, just because
obviously not. Yeah.
No, we don't have writers, a team of writers that are, writing our every sentence, or how to tell a joke, or how to tell a story. But I guess we can kind of come to grips with understanding a little bit of how important it is to try to have well thought out ideas, to try to make the conversation a lot more entertaining, and just to grab people's attention. And in that aspect, I understand it, and understand why they're kind of concerned about things like AI and other situations. On the acting side, I mean, we're no way, in any way, shape, or form, actors of any sort, of any kind. But
no, we're not.
But I know we tend to act silly, and awkward at times, and weird. But I think there's something
quirky.
Yes. But I think there's also something to be said about those. I would call them qualities of being down to earth, and just being the regular salt of the earth type of people, where we basically converse about things that we find interesting, give our 2 cents, and hopefully that kind of enriches and helps other people look at situations that they're going through in a different light, which in turn help them make decisions maybe in the future. And I mean, again, I don't know how that kind of like that parallels or lines up with what the actors are going through. Again, I don't know if we should be concerned about anything like AI taking over our podcast, but I'm always curious to find out that maybe we are wishing that had happened. That way,
I wish a brother would.
So we don't have to speculate on, hey, maybe I should have said it this way or done it this way, or and I guess you could say AI does it for you and kind of gives you a pattern of what would happen.
What's popular?
Yeah, what would happen if we acted this way or that way, and how it gets integrated with our podcast, right? So
yeah,
I mean, compared to other people, like again, we're no big TV production company where we need actors, and then also
we're no
writers.
SNL.
Right, exactly.
Even though we are doing it at SNL, it's live, it's a night, and it's Saturday.
Right, exactly. So that's the way I think about it. I don't know. Had Mr. J, come through, I would have been like, yo, what do you think, buddy?
Buddy.
What do you think he would say? Or would it be his 2 cents?
That would be another poll question right there. One is that if you had the ability, if you were a content creator, if you had AI on your side. Door knocking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I'll pose a question in the meantime.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you were a content creator, like a podcaster, mainly podcaster or YouTuber, would you use AI into your content creation methodology? Would you use AI basically into anything while recording your content? Obviously, I'm just while creating it. Would you use AI while creating your content, whatever that may be? Keep it simple, Marcos. Keep it simple.
I think
that would be like a question.
Yeah, I mean, if it's for cutting corners, then maybe.
Editing, I'm not gonna blame you. AI makes it easier, but I'm just saying while recording your content.
I mean, if it, and just to clarify, streamline the things that we don't want to do, like I don't know, maybe prompt a certain intro, mid credits and outro. If AI can help with that, I would be for it, just to try to get some sort of sequence or I guess familiarity with the podcast, so it could kind of be have a beginning, a middle, and end. Other AI tools that I would want to probably use for it would probably be the one we were speaking about from Shelby Church last time, where it kind of does a bunch of cool things, like make a clip out of your whole podcast or video into something that's TikTokable, Instagram ready, Twitter ready, and other social media platform ready. And then you can just upload without worrying about you needing to edit everything yourself.
That's your ads and prints time or money, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So like those are the ones that I would like probably choose. There might be another one that I might like, where maybe you have AI kind of like fixing your levels, equalizing, balancing, and then also maybe voice correcting, so it sounds a lot clearer when you publish the actual podcast or something. That might be something I would want to do. Those are like my three. I don't know. What do you think, Marcos?
That's for post-production. And of course, those are out there already. And I don't know if there's already people that are using content creating with or alongside or just plain AI. I think there are. Off the top of my head, I can only think about the ones with Obama, Trump, and Biden talking about One Piece. That's
Right.
like that's. I don't know if that's AI or it's just scripted, but the way that they have it is just so funny. It's so funny for me in those like 30 minutes or 10-minute bits. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know if there's more content creators that are just putting it that way out. But if you, dear listener, were to create content, or you're probably creating content, would you integrate AI into your process of creating, not post-production, just creating? That would be my question to you, dear listening, to you.
Yes, you.
Only you can stop. Wait, too soon. Where's your delivery? I think I feel like we've been recording for an hour. What do you think? Want to call it for tonight, Alec?
Yeah, I don't mind. Is there anything else that you wanted to go over? Like maybe your fantastic buys from Amazon Prime Day that you did? Or maybe something along the lines of first impressions of the new season of anime coming on, or anything One Piece related or Bleach related.
I was going to say that. What's your thought on the One Piece trailer?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I like the color palette.
The live action one.
Oh, the live action one. I'm thinking like freaking like for the next episode of One Piece. No, for the live action, I don't dislike it as much as I thought I was going to dislike it. I think once I watch the movie, if I watch the movie, then
no, it's a TV series.
Right. I'm sorry. The TV series.
I did the same mistake. Alan. You're not alone. It sounds like you and I are on the same boat.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's because I think poopy live action was in a movie format instead of a TV show format as the actual anime is. So maybe
Ghost in the Shell was the movie. And that wasn't that good.
So that's probably why it probably doesn't work very well, because it's in a movie format instead of multiple episode type of thing where you spread out the information a little bit better. So pacing is a lot better. But then that's just my thought process. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, for me, again, I the only thing was like Jose and I were chatting about this was that it's going to be season 1, the very, very beginning. Obviously, animation wise, you can't put Usopp with that big nose. Artistically, they decided not to do that. They decided to, I think they introduced Sanji. I don't remember. I think they did. They didn't put Sanji with that big eyebrow that they had, or a cigarette. They didn't show him smoking. So I guess they're worried about the views of how, smoking is bad nowadays. It's very westernized with westernized ideals, I want to say. But at the same time, that's a lot of the source. Obviously, One Piece, it's its own world. What was that? Kobe. Oh, wow.
That's I don't know.
Yeah, it's very westernized, and it's very it's very globalized. The world of One Piece is on its own. It's very huge. It's a very expansive universe, and obviously, being in animation, you can be more creative in how you represent your characters. Like right now, during season 1 in the anime, Luffy is very, very, very rarely gets, up there with what he's in the episodes like 1000 and all those things. He's very down, possible to animate. Nami is also very, she's always been, but she's more a feasible character right now. Buggy the Clown, the way we were nitpicking, obviously, just with a fraction of a second that they showed Buggy. Usopp right now and all those things. And I was just asking, why does Luffy look like Hispanic? And he also said that Luffy is from Brazil in the anime, in their in that animation in the series. And I'm like, okay, so they referenced it to equivalent to Earth kind of countries. Yeah, okay. Nami, she's from Switzerland. Usopp, I think he's from an African country. I don't know which one. What's his name? Sanji, French. Okay, those are the top right now that you didn't see Zoro in the trailer, so they're being very feasible with their current airing of the show. I'm like, it's very good. But then I know that in the first few episodes, we're going to see Alvira, the old lady that's like very big and rotund. She gains a power that, you know, makes her look, you know, appealing to a male or somebody that's, you know, inclined to like women. And that's what I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so what's up with that? Like, how are they gonna broach that situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, just with Alvira, whatever her name is, like, how are they gonna broach that? That's my concern. Like, people are gonna be unhappy. You know, remember with the Full Metal Alchemist, with the Cowboy Bebop, with the Ghost in the not Ghost in the Shell, the one the one with the book that you write your name and the person dies.
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue how to connect the dots here, Marcos.
It is no. It's just I mean, there's no need to connect. It's just right now we can only be along for the ride and just enjoy what's going on out there.
I see your point. Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know, I have expectations. I wish they're fulfilled. They're truer to the series. And hey, if it happens, it happens. And, you know, have a nice day. Were you ever influenced to watch Ghost in the Shell, like, just by the commercials or anything like that, or the hype behind it, like the historical?
No, not really.
Did you ever know about the series before even the ads for the movie came out?
No. I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, and then like what I'm exposing myself. I never saw the movie. I just saw a couple episodes and watched the series, and like, I'm good enough with watching the series. I'm not interested of it going live action. Why? It's not my cup of tea of live action. There's a reason why I watch anime, dear listeners. I don't want Scarlet Johansson, very pretty person, but it's not that I don't like her. You know, she's appealing, but it's not that I'm interested of her being the main protagonist of Ghost in the Shell. The main protagonist is that person, and Scarlett Johansson is herself. Keep them separated. In my point of view, I don't want Luffy to be the next, you know, or I don't want Nami being an actual person. Hey, if it works, it works. How good for them. It's just my point of view. Anime is my passion, and I'd like for it to be well represented, but at the same time, I'm not rooting for it. Sorry, I'm not rooting for. I'm excited that it's coming live, but I'm not rooting for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
Because I love anime, and there's a reason why I joined anime and not watch my local soap opera. You know.
Wow, interesting.
And that's my closing statement for tonight. What do you think, Alan?
And do you have refreshments along with those statements?
H2O. Stay hydrated.
Very good, sir. Very good.
Oh, Amazon time. You want to share your thoughts on the Amazon Prime Day?
I kind of do, but at the same time, I would like to have Mr. J on it. So I'll just quickly mention
give us a taste,
yes,
if you will.
Standing Dust acquired. Well.
No way. Okay. Give me like that.
Else.
Give me like that. Those short.
I think what would be good? Besides that,
oh boy, you got a standing desk. Yeah.
It's just like the ABCs 1, 2, 3s of what you need.
I imagine once your items got here to your house, I imagine you were doing this. You were doing this. Ready? Where is it? Ready? Let's see. Let me know. Let's see. You did this. You did this. You did that,
Yes.
didn't you? You did that little dance right there.
That's exactly verbatim what I did. I think
Like,
that's
yeah.
what I did.
And yeah, like with that, dear listeners, with that little tease, that little taste, if you will, for me, I just got something from Amazon for better napping on the move on the vehicle. Like I didn't know I needed it until I got it. Like, yes.
Did you
know what I'm
get the
talking
actual
about?
vehicle?
No, the napping thing that helps you, rest your neck situation in the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that video, like that looks perfect.
I need
It was a
two
good
of
price.
those. Yeah.
There you go. What else? I also got whatchamacallit, like vitamin supplements, all those things, like different things, protein powder. From that day, it was a lot better to get it that day.
Yeah.
Nutritional wise.
Yeah, no, you're right. There was a lot of sales, a lot of crap, but there was a couple of shining articles or things that you could potentially buy for a really great price, competitive price. And trying to take advantage of what you can buy or should buy is always, I think, a good starter to get yourself the things that you actually need and not just random stuff that you thought you needed. Yeah, that's my final word.
Yeah, and with that little taste, dear listeners, I want to bid you adieu. Thank you so much, Alan, for joining me on this recording of the LTS Out of Office.
Thank you, Marcos.
Any final words you want to spread to the listeners?
Yeah, hopefully our next recording, Mr. J will be on, and then we can break down a little bit more about the Amazon Day Time buys.
How about we open with that? Yeah,
we could, and then obviously move ourselves down to the new season and the couple of episodes that have already come out.
Yes, sir.
That'd be awesome. And I mean, other than that, there might be some more technology, I guess, articles that we can talk about.
Yes.
Being that I think the new iPhone and the new Galaxy have been announced, I think, or like the specifications on those the latest and greatest that are coming out are in the works, or they're being talked about by reviewers online. So it might be something we should keep our eyes peeled for.
Yes.
And I don't know what else would be probably good.
Remember, listeners,
yes, go ahead,
to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and all your favorite podcast distribution sites. Give us 5 stars, thumbs up, follow us, subscribe, comment if you feel comfortable too. And obviously, if there's a little poll in any social media that you follow us on, give it a little little comment. If that's always really appreciated. With
definitely.
That, I bid you adieu, dear listeners. Thank you. Till next time, stay frosty.
Good night. Peace.